So Heather, tell us, how has it gone in the first couple of days of your world tour?
It has gone surprisingly well. I was anticipating, we've now changed times twice. So I'm now in Saskatoon. So I'm 2 hours behind you guys. And we've been waiting for the kids to, crash or have some weird reaction, and nothing. We're the ones who are suffering, but they're absolutely fine. And we've had just a blast.
Did you have like this big, sense of relief once you got on that plane finally? Because the last time we talked to you, were about to get on.
Yeah, and you know what? We were exhausted. It's been a few weeks before we left of like really hairy getting things ready and packing things up and getting our house ready, getting the kids ready, saying goodbye to family and friends. And yeah, there was sort of this big relief almost of getting on the plane and actually being underway. And that's continued. Like, we've enjoyed it. I guess right now it sort of feels more like a vacation than a lifestyle choice. But we've really enjoyed the first few days and been surprised by what our country has to offer, particularly in this area, Western Canada.
And I was thinking about you the other day, thinking how fitting it is for you to have started your world tour in Canada over Canada Day weekend.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it was, Ish and I were talking the other day, one of the best decisions we've ever made was to start with Canada. The kids are gaining such an appreciation of what this country has to offer. Canada Day we spent at the Forks in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I don't know, like, we spent last Canada Day in Ottawa. So, I mean, that's a real, iconic Canada Day celebration, and this was just as memorable. We went to a powwow. We drove around the Forks in a four-man dune buggy that is pedal powered. And just people, it's amazing how many friends you make when you're driving around in an open air pedal powered dune buggy. People were saying hi. We went over to the French side, St. Boniface, and had a great time over there. It's just been really memorable.
Now, was all this planned prior to you leaving? So the dune buggy and the powwow and all of that?
Some of these things were. The powwow was in the park at the Forks on Canada Day, so that's just something we happened across. But we knew we were going to the Forks because a lot of this is about me writing. We've been working with several of the tourism boards, and one of them was Destination Winnipeg, to make sure that we hit some of the things in each city that are really things that we want readers and viewers to know about. The dune buggy was organized before we left. We knew we'd be doing that. The visit to the Forks organized before we left, but then you happen on things like that powwow that are just breathtaking.
So what surprised you so far, Heather?
About the destinations?
Yeah.
I guess the biggest surprise for me is, growing up and studying Canadian geography in school, the prairies get a bad rap, I think. You sort of get the sense that the prairies are all flat lands and wheat, and really, I've been here and I'm sitting here now looking out over a gorgeous view in Saskatoon, and it is not at all what I was led to believe was out this way, I think people should take the time to get out here, and I'm just so proud to be Canadian.
Now, one of the wonderful things about your trip, of course, is being able to see these different places through the eyes of your children. What have they said so far about what they've seen?
We took them catfishing in Manitoba a couple of days ago, and it was just, my kids are city kids. Like, they, fishing, and I am not, anyone will tell you, I am not a wilderness, go get them kind of girl. My idea of camping involves, a beautiful hotel suite. So
you are not alone.
To be out there. Yeah. Sorry?
You are not alone.
I know, I've developed quite a following that way. But for them to be, and for myself, to be out there on the Red River, with the fishing rod in hand, and my kids just blown away by the ability to, put a shrimp on the hook, get it out there in the water, learning the patience of actually waiting for, a tug on the line, and then helping to reel it in. They just had a blast, and it was so much fun for me to watch them experience their country that way, sort of in a way that I probably wouldn't have on my own opted to just jump up and do. And that was a great moment. Now, we're watching them through this whole thing. It's been fabulous. They lead the way. They're fearless. They have been exposed to things, good and bad, that we didn't consider before, and it's just been a great experience.
Now, I've got this image of you on the shores of the Red River with like gloves on and your hair like. Was that?
We had on our hats. We've been wearing Tilly hats. I've been working with Tilly on this trip, and so each of us has sort of one of those iconic Tilly hats, and it's great because you're walking to the airport, and we're quite a scene coming to the airport in our Tilly gear. And so yes, we had on our hats on the edge of the river. And our life jackets, of course, and it was a lot of fun. Now,
did you go fishing in the end?
Yes,
you did.
Absolutely, and I caught a big one.
Wonderful.
My husband's was bigger, 34, and his was 34.5 inches. Mine was 31.5, so I haven't heard the end of that yet. But
nor will you.
Quite proud.
You will never hear the end of that, right?
I know.
So what's up next? What are you looking forward to next?
Wow, so we're in Saskatoon now for a few days, and then we're going to explore this city a bit, and then we move on to Calgary and the Stampede.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll be there later this week, and we'll also be taking in Canmore, Alberta, and probably Banff, and then we move on to Vancouver. So we've got a bit more of Canada left to get through, and I'm enjoying every step of the way.
That sounds amazing. Now tell me, are there one or two parenting tips that you can leave us with that you've learned in the last couple of days that you've been out traveling?
Yeah, one, follow the kids. They, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if we should. I don't know if they'll like it. The fishing is a great example. It could have been a disaster. They could have been out there whining the whole time to come home. And so I put it to them, listen, here's this opportunity. Would you like to try? And they were all excited about it. And it was a blast. So I'd say follow their lead. And, think carefully about what your accommodations are going to be like and what you need and who you are as a person. So right now we're in a 1-bedroom, 4 of us, and we're still working out what the right sleeping partner should be. I've got a kicker and a grunter.
Oh.
So I've got to decide
well,
which of those, and they partner together. It's not pretty. So.
Well, you look wonderful. You look wonderfully energetic and perky for somebody who may not have slept much. Is that what you're saying?
It's been fun. It really has been a blast.
Oh, good. Well, we look forward to talking to you and learning more about where you guys end up next week.
Great.
Thanks so much, Heather.
No problem at all.